Hello, this is Beat After Beat, Bio Mondays. How are you, everyone? Welcome, welcome. Another Bio Mondays here. Glad y'all could come by. Drum roll, please. Bio Mondays with your host, Beat After Beat. Thank you for showing up, everyone. Much love. In case you didn't know, I'm a music channel from here in Michigan, from the Motor City. I am Beat After Beat. This is Bio Mondays. We are covering Oingo Boingo today. Oingo Boingo. That is weird science. As well as OMD, the headliner this afternoon. Thank you all for showing up. Let's go in the chat and see what is going on. PPR is in the house. Much love to you. Thank you for showing up. As you all are aware, every time this music channel goes live, riots. Every time this channel goes live. Here you go. Am I making a guest appearance on your show, PPR, this week? Well, look who made it in the show. Hey, Beat, hey, everyone, just passing through to give a like and a little view. I'm super busy. Yes, you are Superman, Mike. At work today. Much love, brother. Much love to you. Super Mike. Go check out X Official Team. Mike's taking a long vacation, summer vacation. He'll be back in the fall. Gonna try tomorrow, yes. Hi, Mike. Yeah, we need to get you a costume, Mike. We need a big M on your the shirt and the cape. Get you a cape. Get a big M like Superman. Full of energy. Mike works all day, then he goes out to the gym and pumps some iron. Give you a lot of credit. Much love to you. Mike, I got a question. I've been checking out my recent live shows, but now when I check my live shows, commercials show up on my channel. Do you know why commercials start in the beginning of my old live shows? All of a sudden I'm getting commercials. If you know what that means. Don't know why Beat After Beat's getting commercials in the beginning of his old live shows. YouTube does that to make money. Does that. So they're making money off of my shows. How nice. Making money off of my shows. Does. That is funny. YouTube is making money off of my shows. When you get monetized, then you will make the money. By 2030, I should be monetized. Ha ha! Oopsos. Any video that gets lots of views, yep. I guess I get a lot of views. Even mine are like that. Ten minutes into the show, this is Beat After Beat, Bio Mondays. We have the opening act, OINGO BOINGO, Weird Science, as well as the headliner, Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark. That is OMD, Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark. We'll begin the show today with OINGO BOINGO. Looks like Beat After Beat's the only one live right now, 12 o'clock Eastern. Coming to you live from the Motor City. We're going to cover the biography, as well as the discography of OINGO BOINGO. One moment, please. There they are. OINGO BOINGO is a big band, by the way. They have 8 members, 8 to 10 members. OINGO BOINGO is a was a big band. Based out of Los Angeles, California, Oingo Boingo. Wow. After the show, Beat After Beat's going to go get his ears re-pierced. That's right, I'm getting my ears re-pierced today. One here, one there. Been a long time since I had my earrings in. "13 minutes in the show, 2 people in the house." Well, thank you for still being here, PPR. Appreciate it to the fullest. Oingo Boingo. Everybody remembers Weird Science. Oingo Boingo, the biography. Active 1970s to the 1990s. Formed in 1979 in Los Angeles, California. Disbanded in 1996 under the pop rock, alternative indie rock, new wave, punk new wave, dance rock, college rock, contemporary pop rock, dance pop, synth pop. Group members: Dale Turner, Danny Elfman. Now, Danny Elfman was the lead singer of Oingo Boingo, and he went on and did soundtracks for movies. Danny Elfman, and I believe he came out with some solo albums as well. But he went on after Oingo Boingo and did soundtracks for motion pictures. So Johnny Hernandez, Leon Schneiderman, Sam Phillips, Steve Bartek, John Avila, Carrie Hatch, Mike Badich, Richard Gibbs, Bruce Fowler, Carl Graves, Doug Lacey, George McCollin, Warren Fitzgerald. That is the group members. I did mention Oingo Boingo was a huge band, 8 to 10 members. Hope everyone's enjoying their summer. One moment, please. Here we go. Biography of Oingo Boingo. Coming up after that, the discography of the band. Then we're going to move on to the headliner, which is OMD, Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark. Although Oingo Boingo was often compared to Devo throughout their career due to both bands' affinity for quirky new wave, goofy stage acts, and most obviously particular yet in, triggering band names, Oingo Boingo never obtained the mainstream success that Devo did, but the band did manage to obtain a large and devoted fan base, especially in the hometown of Los Angeles, California. Oingo Boingo started not as a traditional group per se, as they were originally put together in the 70s by movie director Richard Elfman, who needed music for a whacked out John Waters flick he was working on called Forbidden Zone, enlisting his younger brother Danny Elfman, vocals and guitar, Steve Bartek, guitar, and Johnny Hernandez on drums. The group originally went by the name Mystic Knights of the Oingo Boingo, before shortening it to Oingo Boingo in 1979. Tired of sitting around and waiting for the movie's completion, the group began playing out in the Los Angeles area, where they built a substantial following with a punk new wave set, as the lineup would often multiply for performances. But Oingo Boingo had a step or two ahead of the local bands, both musically and visually, as Danny Elfman has spent several years in France working with a theater group and studying orchestra, which reflected in Oingo Boingo's styles. The soundtrack to Forbidden Zone was finally issued in 1980, which proved to be a wild musical roller coaster ride and gave Oingo Boingo the first appearance on record. But by the time a 4-track release 10-inch EP was issued the same year on IRS Records, the group had focused their sound and approach drastically, and recording contract with A&M Records followed shortly thereafter, resulting in some of the early 80s finest new wave releases. In 1981, Only a Lad whose title track received plenty of airplay on the influential LA rock radio station KROQ. 1982's Nothing to Fear and 1983's Good for Your Soul, the latter of which spawned a popular early MTV video hit for Nothing Bad Ever Happens. Like their live shows, Oingo Boingo's recordings featured a hefty amount of additional members lending a hand, but despite it all, Danny Elfman remained the group's leader and vocal point. Elfman even found the time to issue a solo album. That album was called Solo in 1984. A switch to MCA immediately paid off for the group, as they scored the biggest hit in their career with 1985's Dead Man's Party, eventually earning gold certification in the US. Made a cameo appearance in the hit Rodney Dangerfield comedy Back to School, and scored a moderate hit with the theme song to John Hughes's teen comedy Weird Science. But despite their commercial success, Oingo Boingo was unable to sustain it. As such, further releases as 1987's BOINGO, 1988's BOINGO Live, 1990's Dark at the End of the Tunnel, and 1994's Boingo failed to storm the charts, yet managed to retain the group's cult following. Dragon is in the house. Much love to you. Hey, professional. Sorry, I was with customers. I don't do Facebook PPR. I stay away from that shit. I have to do everyone's. I have to go, everyone. Much love. Thank you for showing up, Mike. Much love to you on this Monday. Don't forget to subscribe and share for Beat. Thank you, Mike. Dragon, hit the like button. Everyone, please subscribe and please leave a comment. Thank you for your support. We're finishing off the biography of Oingo Boingo, an LA band created in 1979. We're finishing up the biography of Oingo Boingo. But during the mid to late 80s, Elfman struck up a friendship with director Tim Burton and began contributing music to Burton's directed movies on a regular basis. For with the major comedy hit Pee-wee's Big Adventure, if you're having a bad day and you're looking for a movie to laugh and just feel silly, go watch Pee-wee Herman's Big Adventures. I did, from at least 8 times back when I was in high school. So Danny Elfman went ahead and worked with Tim Burton and did the Pee-wee's Big Adventures, and then later Beetlejuice, and then Big Top Pee-wee, and then Batman, Edward Scissorhands, The Nightmare Before Christmas, Mars Attacks, Sleepy Hollow, and the remake of Planet of the Apes, among others. In return, Elfman became one of Hollywood's most in-demand film composers, providing music for countless films and TV programs, receiving Grammy, Golden Globe, Emmy, and Oscar nominations for his work. With Elfman primarily focusing on film composing by this point, Oingo Boingo was laid to rest in 1995 after a farewell performance in Los Angeles' Universal Amphitheater, which was issued a year later as a CD and video, appropriately titled Farewell. A pair of Oingo Boingo's collections surfaced during the 1990s and 1992's Best of Boingo, 1999's double disc anthology, as were a pair of anthologies of Elfman's film scores, 1990s Music for a Darkened Theater Volume 1, Film and Television Music, and 1996's Music for a Darkened Theater Volume 2, Film and Television Music. There you have it, the biography of Oingo Boingo. This is Beat After Beat, 27 minutes in the show, 2 people in the house. Thank you for the love and support in the chat. Couldn't do it without you. Rowan is in the house. Speaking of filmmakers and composers and well, go check out Rowan. He is brilliant at what he does here on YouTube. Currently at work. Thank you for stopping in. Go check out Rowan. Please subscribe to him. Talk about brilliant composers, producers. Rowan is the man to check out here on YouTube. Always coming out with a laugh for everyone. Always putting on a smile, showing the love to everyone. Go check out Rowan. So if you were growing up in the 80s and in high school in the 80s, and you were listening to Oingo Boingo, you were probably considered a nerd or into new wave. Oingo Boingo is a very silly band, but very talented. But if you were brought up in 83, 84, going to school, 85, and you listened to Oingo Boingo, they labeled you as a nerd. So they called me a nerd. But see, Beat After Beat was a hip nerd. I was pretty hip back in the high school days. I was so hip that at lunchtime, I'd go in the cafeteria and all the girls would say, "Come on over here and help us put on our eyeliner." And I was good at it too. So yeah, I was pretty hip with the girls. The jocks didn't like me so much, but yeah, they'd say the girls in the cafeteria, they come say sit with us and help us put on our eyeliner. I was a pretty hip nerd. 30 minutes in the show, 2 people watching. Roland says, "Thank you, brother. You are very kind. Everyone hit that like. Please share, spread the word." So we just covered the biography of Oingo Boingo, the opening act. We got the discography of Oingo Boingo. In 1981, Only a Lad on A&M Records, 4.5 stars. 1982's Nothing to Fear, A&M Records, 3 stars. 1983's Good for Your Soul on A&M Records, 2 stars. 1985's and probably the most popular, one of the most popular, Dead Man's Party, MCA Records, 3 stars. 87, Boingo, MCA Records, 2 stars. 1988's Boingo Alive, MCA Records, 2.5 stars. 1994's Boingo on Giant / Warner Brothers, 2.5 stars. And 1996's Farewell, live from the Universal Amphitheater in Los Angeles, California. A&M Records, 3 stars. The Farewell album by Oingo Boingo in 1996. again live from the Universal Amphitheater. And that covers the biography, discography of Oingo Boingo. Hope you're having a good day at work, Rowan. Up next, we got OMD. That is Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark. I remember I saw OMD back in the summer of '85. It was an outdoor concert. Very, very brilliant band. Uh, lots of energy. From OMD. Remember, I got free tickets that summer in '85. And just a brilliant show by Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark. "34 minutes in the show." Yeah, I believe that was the Pacific Age tour. Just brilliant show, full of energy, from these two guys. I remember that. That was a hot summer. It was an outdoor show. I think he wore some shorts. He had Doc Martens on, combat boots. I think he had a tank top on, just dancing around that stage like there was no tomorrow. Just back and forth across the stage. He had his combat boots on, and his shorts and his shirt, and it was just amazing. And the smoke on the stage and the lights, and it was just a brilliant show. Free tickets to that OMD show. 36 minutes in the show. New release Tuesdays is coming up tomorrow, 12 o'clock Eastern. Be sure to come by and grab your tacos, because it is also Taco Tuesday. It was an amazing time. What a time to be alive back then for me. Got to enjoy all the '80s, high school, and just wonderful times. Lots of great memories. PPR is still in the house. He's probably going to stick around for the OMD Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark. Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark. early, enduring, and inventive synth pop act known for Maid of Orleans and If You Leave, among over 30 charting UK singles by OMD. Active 1970s to 2020s, formed in 1978 in Merseyside, England, under the pop rock section, synth pop, contemporary pop rock, post-punk, dance rock, new wave, and alternative dance, OMD. Group members: Andy McCluskey, Martin Cooper, Paul Humphreys, Malcolm Holmes, Stuart Kershaw, Graham Weir, Neil Weir, David Allen Hughes, Mike Douglas, Nigel Pilson, and Phil Coxon. Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark are one of the earliest, most commercially successful and enduring synth pop groups, inspired most by the advancements of Kraftwerk and striving at one point to be ABBA. They're continually drawn from early electronic music as they've alternatively disregarded, mutated, or embraced the conventions of the 3-minute pop song. Outside their native England, OMD are known primarily for Maid of Orleans and the Pretty in Pink soundtrack smash If You Leave. Yet they scored 18 additional charting UK singles in the 80s alone. These hits supported innovative albums such as Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark, 1980, Architecture and Morality in 1981, and Commercial Suicide turned cult classic Dazzle Ships, 1983. After roughly a decade of silence, OMD returned in the mid-2000s to add to their legacy as much as 10 to it. Their lengthy second life has been highlighted by a 6th UK Top 10 album, The Punishment of Luxury, in 2017, and a box set, Souvenir, 2019. Coincided with their 40th anniversary. Acquaintances since they were students at primary school on the WIRRAL Peninsula, Andy McCluskey and Paul Humphreys. The core members of Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark played separately and together in a few short-lived bands starting in the mid-70s. In 1977, they formed The ID. That was the original name for OMD, The ID, a group that gigged in Northwest England and contributed a song to Street, a Liverpool album, a compilation most notable for an early Echo and the Bunnymen appearance. By the time the LP was racked, The ID, which was OMD's original name, were no more, and McCluskey had joined and left. Moreover, McCluskey primarily bass and vocals, and Humphreys primarily synthesizers, had experimented as a duo and were well underway as orchestral maneuvers in the dark, effectively named as such to further distinguish their endeavor from punk. Not only had the two musicians played their first official gigs starting at Eric's in their home base of Liverpool in the Factory Club in Manchester, supporting Joy Division and Cabaret Voltaire as the latter, but they had also made their recorded debut with a demo of Electricity, backed with the Martin Ham produced Almost, issued by Factory. Later in 1979, OMD signed with Virgin Records and re-released the 7-inch debut version of the A-side, the full-length Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark, re-recorded by the duo with manager Paul Custer. Followed in early 1980, it featured new mixes of Electricity and Almost, which were spun off as which was a spun off of a third of the first single, and was promoted with two more singles, including the Mike Howlett produced re-recording of the album's track Messages, which became a number 13 UK hit and in the US registered on Billboard's club chart. These progressors guided Orchestral Maneuver in the Dark to number 27 on the corresponding UK album chart. Howlett continued to work with Muskie and Humphreys for OMD's second full-length Organization, released later in 1980. Only OINGO was reissued as a single, but that became the duo's first in a streak of top 10 hits. The parent release followed suit at number 6. By then, OMD's live and studio lineup was augmented with drummer Malcolm Holmes, formerly of the ID, the keyboardist saxophonist Martin Cooper. Still on the rise, in 1981, OMD released Architecture and Morality. Was the first proper album licensed in the States by Epic Records, which also compiled highlights from the first two albums and released them as OMD. McCluskey and Humphreys responded to their greatest commercial success yet with a loosely conceptual effort that shot to number 5 in the UK upon release, but soon capsized, although it incorporated a couple of remixes, B-sides, and an ID era composition, Dazzle Ships, co-produced by Davies and released on DIN Disc, DIN Disc, the parent of Virgin Records, was a sharp departure in integrating music's concert snippets, radio broadcast songs about robotics and optional instrumentation, and decisively titled charting singles Genetic engineering, and telegraph. Although Dazzle Shifts was later embraced as a misunderstood and inspired work, a creative high point, OMD took a puzzlement to heart and simplified their lyrics and song structures. For the rest of the decade, they courted pop listeners with their most straightforward recordings. Within a 3-year span, 1984 to 1986, they released Junk Culture, Crush, and Pacific Age. A conservative trilogy yielding the number 5 UK hit Locomotion and a handful of after singles that fared well among the Midwestern fans. During this phase was John Hughes, who sought them to contribute a song for the 1986's teen romantic comedy Pretty in Pink. Y'all remember Molly Ringwald back then? OMD submitted Goddess of Love by the original ending of Hughes' screenplay was not well received by a test audience, prompting Hughes to change the ending and ask the pressed OMD for another song. Overnight, OMD came up with If You Leave, a number 4 hit in the US and made a gold seller out of the soundtrack. Coincidentally, featuring their fellow Livertorians, Echo and the Bunnymen, the single went down similarly elsewhere and didn't go over quite as well in the UK, where it peaked at number 48. OMD finished off the decade with the best of OMD, promoted with the new single Dreaming, a top 20 hit in the US. 50 minutes in the show, we are going over the biography of OMD. Thank y'all for showing up. This is Bio Mondays with your host, Beat After Beat, covering the biography of Oingo Boingo and their discography. And now we are going over the discography or biography and discography of OMD. Two people in the house. It's a lot to read. It is a lot to read. You can check out OMD and my Oingo Boingo playlist down below. I'm currently working on the OMD, putting that up there for you guys. But I do believe I have Oingo Boingo up there now on my created playlist. A series of departures left McCloskey as the lone original member of OMD in the 1990s. During the decade, with varying support, he put together Sugar Tax, Liberator, and Universal, issued from 1991 through 1996 on Virgin Records in the US. The first two were also Virgin products. The latter was available only as an import. 9 primarily commercial dance pop singles from these albums, including the top tens "Sailing on the Seven Seas" and "Pandora's Box." And the McCluskey-Humphreys written "Every Day" charted in the UK. McCluskey also co-wrote and sang 2 songs on Esperantos, a project from Kraftwerk's Karl Bartos under the name Electric Music. Meanwhile, Humphreys and fellow ex-OMD members McCollum and Holmes and Martin Cooper recorded as The Listening Pool. OMD became inactive toward the decade's end as McCluskey ventured into artist development and songwriting for other acts. McCluskey and 90s OMD associate Stuart Kershaw founded and co-wrote material for the top trio Atomic Kitten. Their biggest hit was the 2001 UK chart topper "Whole Again," also nominated for an Ivor Novello Award. Humphreys and Claudia Bricken, the Propaganda Act, released an LP a few years later as 1-2. McCluskey and Humphreys reunited in 2005 when they were approached to perform on the German television program Die Ultimate chart show in Germany. It developed into a full reactive vision of OMD with Holmes and Cooper, a tour for which they played the entirety of their third album, documented in 2008 with Architecture and Morality and More, recorded at London's Hammersmith Apollo. Led to new independent releases material starting in 2010s with History of Modern. After a live package from a supplement tour was offered in 2011, the quartet continued studio work with English Electric, issued in 2003 and 2013, just before they performed at Kalisha months later. Holmes left the band after he collapsed during a Toronto gig, played in extreme heat. Stuart Kershaw consequently took over on drums. Dazzleship Live at the Museum of Liverpool followed in 2015. The Punishment of Luxury, OMD's third post-millennial studio album, arrived 2 years later and became their 6th top 10 UK LP. Their first single, Sugar Tax. OMD celebrated their 40th anniversary in 2019 with continued touring and an elaborate box set, Souvenir, covering their whole career. This stuff is hard to read. Tutti Frutti's in the house. Go over there and give her some love. She is from an old friend of mine from Italy. She doesn't speak English, I know that. But a good friend, Tutti Frutti. Go check her out. I believe she's from Italy or Peru. Go check out my old friend Tutti Frutti. I've known her for about 6 years now. "58 minutes in the show, 2 people in the house. Tutti Frutti, much love to you. Bio Mondays with your host Beat After Beat. We just covered the opening act, Oingo Boingo. Everybody remembers Weird Science. Another hits by them. Covered the discography as well. Just finished off with the discography of OMD. Ran into some complications reading. Hope you all get the point about these biographies. Hope you get a little bit of education. We're going to finish off the show with the discography of OMD, which you can catch in my creative playlist down below. I'm currently working on that. I do have the Oingo Boingo in my playlist. Again, everyone keep checking out that playlist. I list on the daily. It's like walking into a record store and checking out the new arrivals. So that my creative playlist is considered here at Beat After Beat a new arrival section, new releases, new arrivals. That is my creative list playlist. OMD 1980 self-titled album on Virgin Records, 3 stars. 1980s Organization on Virgin Records, 4 stars. 1981's Architecture and Morality, Virgin Records, 4.5 stars. 1983's Dazzle Ships, Virgin Records, 4 stars. 1984's Junk Culture, Virgin Records, 4 stars. 1985's Crush, and I do believe 85, that was the Crush tour that OMD was on when I had gotten free tickets to see them back in 85. It was an outdoor concert during the summertime. That was the Crush tour they were on. Brilliant show. Lots of high energy from that show back in 85, the summer. So 1985's Crush on Disky Records, 2 stars. 1986's The Pacific Age on A&M Records, 2.5 stars. 1991's Sugar Tax on Virgin Records, 2 stars. 1993's Liberator, Virgin Records, 2 stars. 1996's Universal on Virgin Records, 2 stars. 2010's History of Modern on Blue Noise Records, 2.5 stars. 2013's English Electric on 100% Records, 3.5 stars. 2015's Dazzle Ships live at the Museum of Liverpool on 100% Records. And 2017's The Punishment of Luxury on 100% Records, 3.5 stars. That completes the discography of OMD. Thank you all for showing up. Getting ready to shut down here. Hope y'all enjoyed the show. Everyone say hi to my cat, Maria. She is there on my bed right there. Everyone say hello to Maria. Taking a little cat nap. Thank you for everyone that showed up today. Appreciate it to the fullest. Whether you were at work or or having lunch, I appreciate you taking the time out to come see me. This is Beat After Beat, coming to you live from the Motor City. Thanks to everyone who has shown up today. I am getting ready to get my ears re-pierced, both ends. It's been a while since I wore earrings. I am going out today and getting my ears re-pierced. Thank you for showing up, PPR. Hope you have a good day. Looking forward to going on your panel this week. When two worlds collide, right? Right, PPR, the music industry and the paranormal community clashing together on your show. Don't forget to come and check out Beat After Beat's new release Tuesdays tomorrow, 12 o'clock Eastern. enjoy the created playlist. I moved it up a notch on the board, so it's in your face. So when you go to Beat After Beats page, created playlist is right there. So it's like in the old days when you used to walk in the record store, the new releases, new arrivals were right there in front of you. If you all remember that, every time you walked in the record store, the bin for the new releases, new arrivals would be right there. So consider me a digital music store, record store. I am your digital record store, your local record store. Hope you enjoy the playlist. Recently put up some autumn music. If people like autumn, I put in some autumn music for you to enjoy. Working on that OMD. I got the OINGO BOINGO up there in the creative playlist. Yes, BPR, when two worlds collide, the music industry and the paranormal community. Beat After Beat does not have a community. He has never had a community. Now we're 9 minutes of the show. And Beat After Beat, we'll see you tomorrow or see you throughout the day if you're going live or posting videos. I'll do my best to make a comment or a thumbs up. I'm going to go get my ears re-pierced today. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Thank you, PPR. When I'm doing these biographies and I'm reading my notes, even I cannot read. I cannot read my own notes. And that doesn't sound very professional when you can't read in front of your audience. I do the best I can. See y'all tomorrow. Take care. This is Beat After Beat. Bye on Mondays. Much love, everybody.